Well, hello, everybody. I am Bob Megan, and this is episode 30 of the Coronavirus and the Independent Retailer podcast. You know, when Susan and I started this, we thought it might last 3 weeks. Here we are at the end of 6 weeks, but guess what? We are 6 weeks into it, and we are one day closer. Every day we are getting closer to the end of this pandemic, and life will be back to, well, maybe not normal, but life will be better than it is right now. Stuck in the home, quarantined, shelter in place. Maybe not better. I don't know. It will be different, but we are moving closer to the end. Today, I'm going to explore marketing pre-pandemic and what marketing is probably going to look like post-pandemic. But before that, I want to share with you a brand new acronym. You know that I'm a big fan of TLAs, three-letter acronyms. You know, we have the AAA mindset, assess, adjust, advance, and PIP, the perpetual improvement process, ADD, ask, discuss, and decide. And at Whiz Bang Training, we have the RSA, the RMS, the RSS, the MPA, the MMP. So it's just a good way to shorten a longer phrase or a term into something that's easy to use. Well, yesterday I had a moment. Yesterday afternoon, I had a couple of tough hours, and so the boys started teasing me right away. Come on, come on, Dad. You know, this is where you need to assess, adjust, and advance. And, you know, they were just giving me a little bit of my own medicine. But when I explored why I was grumpy, I realized that it was just GCA. It was just GCA, General Coronavirus Anxiety. And I love that term, GCA. You know, we've all been cooped up for weeks and weeks and weeks, and we're doing the best that we can, but everything's still uncertain. You know, everybody has their own story. And I just thought that that was a great three-letter acronym. If you like three-letter acronyms, please feel free to use that. GCA, General Coronavirus Anxiety. So thanks to Joe Nagin for that one. All right, so let's talk about marketing, because marketing pre-pandemic was pretty straightforward, right? We built a relationship and then we parlayed that relationship into traffic in the store. The name of the game was driving traffic and everything that you did. I mean, the independent brick and mortar retailers, you know, like this community, there was some, a little bit of social selling, a little bit of e-commerce, but primarily it was in-store business. That's what we were doing business. And social media and email marketing and all of these other digital marketing vehicles were all about, you know, building, like I said, building that emotional bank account and then using that emotional bank account to drive people into the store where your amazing merchandise and your beautiful displays, but most importantly, your great, highly skilled sales team took that traffic and turned it into money. But things have changed, haven't they? Things have changed a lot. And the first change that I think is going to be very, very, very significant is people are going to want to shop differently. We cannot assume that once things open up that people are going to want to come in the store, right? The politicians can say you are free to go to a tattoo parlor now, but that doesn't mean somebody's going to want to go to a tattoo parlor. The coronavirus is still out there. It is still contagious. People still have loved ones who are compromised. So I believe that until there is a vaccination, there will be suppressed foot traffic. People are not going. I mean, some people want to come in the store. Don't get me wrong. In our Platinum Mastermind group, somebody shared a story where one of her team members left the store to go make a delivery, forgot to lock the front door. When our friend came back out of the store, there were 6 people in the store. So some people don't care. Some people are chomping at the bit. Some people are absolutely comfortable, practicing social distancing, wearing a mask, wearing gloves, and those sorts of things. So there will be some in-store traffic, but there's still going to be a lot of people who are not comfortable for many, many, many reasons. Those people are going to want to continue to have curbside pickup. They're going to want to continue to have their goods delivered. They're going to want to use e-commerce or buy from social selling. So let's just recognize that people are going to want to shop differently. A lot of people are going to want to develop a personal relationship with you and your store so that they can pick up the phone. If you haven't watched the interview that I did with Maureen Doran on her clienteling program, I strongly recommend it. It's on our coronavirus page, so go to whizbangtraining.com/coronavirus. But Maureen has done an absolutely fantastic job of building a system where everybody in her database has been connected to one of her stylists, and that stylist is responsible for the relationship. So this is another way to sell. Recognizing people are going to shop differently. We need to sell differently. Do not go under the assumption that just because the orders are lifted, that life will go back to normal. That is a fool's errand. The orders will be lifted and things will start to move and there will be changes, but people are still going to want to shop the way that they want to shop, which leads us to the next really important thing, which is WWMCW. What would my customer want? We've been teaching this concept for several years now. What would my customer want? And this is both an operating philosophy and a strategy. So now that we're post-pandemic, we have to ask ourselves, what would my customer want? Do they want curbside? Do they want clienteling? Do they want social selling? Do they want e-commerce? How do they want to buy from you? And this is no longer about how you want to sell to them. It's about how they want to buy from you. And in order to maintain the relationship, in order to, continue the engagement, we have to think about how we build our brand. Because selling is different and brand building will be different. So a lot of you have been doing live social media, and you've been doing great with it. And I know that some of you are thinking, when life gets back to normal, I don't have to do this anymore. And I'm just suggesting that if it's working for you now, if your customers are appreciating what you're doing now, you should continue to do it in the future. It is now part of your marketing mix. It's now part of who you are. It's how people relate to you. Business Breakthrough Accelerator member Susan Glen Wallace was talking about how she's just become, a TV star, isn't that what she said? But, so she has a knitting store in Bay City, Michigan, and it's always been a good store, and she's always done well. She came to the Business Breakthrough Accelerator, so she's always invested in herself, and she's a smart merchant. But all of a sudden, this pandemic has forced her to change her game, do things differently, up her game. and it's building her market share. One of the things that we're learning through this whole pandemic is that the people who are doing it well are gaining market share. The people who are putting their heads in the ground, not hustling, the people are losing market share. Their customers are going to Amazon. Their customers are going to the people who are open, who are hustling, who are making a presence in the community. So live education and shopping events are part of the new normal. At least is my official prediction, part of the new normal after this pandemic. I believe that another important part of marketing your local independent brick and mortar retail store after the pandemic is authenticity. Authenticity. You will be in the business of being you. You and your team and who you are and how you show up will become more and more important as when it comes to post-pandemic marketing. I think that people are really realizing that local businesses are important. That if they don't support local businesses, that they're going to be sad when they're gone. And it was easy to take advantage, to take it, to just be aware and, just take it for granted that these businesses were there before the pandemic. But I think people are now acutely aware that they might not be after the pandemic. So I think there's going to be a real surge of support. And so you and your team showing up, being caring, being authentic, being yourself when you're writing emails, when you're creating your social media posts, when you're doing your live social media, just really being you, bringing that authenticity forward is going to be really, really a really important part of your marketing. Emphasizing local is going to be a really important part of your marketing. Do you see what's happening? All of a sudden, we've shifted from, come into my store to now, here's who I am. Here's what we do. Here's how we are. So it's a shift towards authenticity and really, really a recognition that you're part of a community. And having said that, being part of a community, I think you're going to see a lot more of your marketing revolve around local causes. If you have the Retail Mastery System, now is the time to get together with your team, whether virtually or in person, and go through the marketing module, particularly go through cause marketing and endorsed mailings. That set of videos will inform you how to make a tremendous impact in your community when you get out of this and start marketing your business post-pandemic. Cause marketing in a nutshell, if you don't have the Retail Mastery System, which you should, is you create partnerships with local nonprofits. And when they send their members to you and their members or their supporters shop with you, you give a percentage of the sales generated by those supporters back to the organization. So it's a great way for you to do good in your community and build your business at the same time. And again, some people, some independents, some of the stores in your town are shrinking back. I'm encouraging you to go forward. Some people are slowing down. I'm encouraging you to hustle. Look for the opportunities. Yesterday, we talked about the difference between crisis mentality and opportunity mentality. There are going to be so many opportunities when you start thinking about your marketing in a different way. The pandemic ending does not portend a going back to the way things were. The end of the pandemic means that now it's time to move forward into a brand new way of marketing. So what did I say? Support local causes, more clienteling. Two more things here real quickly. More sophisticated marketing. Now is the time when we start to talk about, post-pandemic marketing, it's going to become more sophisticated. And what do I mean by that? I mean that your website, which may have been a pile of crap before the pandemic, but that was okay. It didn't matter. Now needs to be good. Your digital footprint needs to be tight. It needs to be good. It needs to, reflect who you are. When you start looking at building relationships with your list, particularly email marketing, segmentation becomes really, really important. You can send very specific messages to specific groups of people. And when you start doing that, you're going to increase the response significantly. You're going to have different groups within your customer base. Michiko Seto, many of you know Misha. She's a member of the Platinum Mastermind group. She's super active in the Retail Marketing Club. She has different Facebook groups for her major brands. So she has a Troll Bead group. She has a Pandora group. This is an example of segmenting, not just one Facebook group, but different Facebook groups for different brands. Wonderful example of segmenting. I talked yesterday about Deborah Campbell's idea of having an outlet Facebook page. Again, this is thinking outside the box, and it just makes me so happy. It's going to be a whole nother set of strategies and tactics, and they're going to be better strategies and tactics. And the thing that I want you to recognize is if you choose to accept the challenge of becoming a post-pandemic marketer, that you are going to be in a great position after this whole thing is done. There's going to be a lot less stores when this is done. There's going to be a lot less square footage in retail when this is done. The money's not going to be, the economy's not going to be as strong, but there is still going to be plenty of money for the people who know how to get it. So there's going to be less traffic, and there's going to be more hustle. Less traffic to your store means more hustle for you. But as things improve, as the economy does improve, as a vaccine is developed, as the world does get back to a true new normal, you are going to be in a position of strength. You're going to be in a position of power. You are going to be great. So if you enjoyed this, if you think it would be helpful to anybody, I would sure appreciate the fact if you would push that share button and share it with someone who would find it helpful. It's Friday. We do take the weekend off here. We don't have a store anymore, but I know some of you are working in your stores. So I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic weekend. I hope you do get at least a little chance to rest and spend some time with your family. And I hope that everything's going well with you. I'm Bob Nagin. We'll see you on Monday.